in Facebook land. And I am your co host, Minnie Kansman, today, along with my good friend and co host, Neshi Lokotz. And our topic today is body intelligence. And our bodies have a natural intelligence in them, guided by our body elementals. And our show today is about understanding and connecting deeper to this intelligence. Let me bring my co-host, Neshi Lokotz, up. Gotta find her. She was right here. Here she is. Hey, Ned. There she is.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. I just got done running down the virtual hallway from my show.
You did well. Well,
no.
go ahead. I thought before we started the show, we might do our announcement.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, do it.
Because I'm so excited. Well, bittersweetly, today is our last nature adventure show. But that is only because I am going to be launching my own show called Nature Connections. And it will be at the same time, the fourth Wednesday of every month, at 2 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock Eastern. And Neshi promised that she will come on and be a guest once in a while for me.
Yes.
But I am so excited about launching this new show. It's really my passion, and it's time for me to step into the energy of that I am meant to share with the world. So the show will be all about connecting with nature. We'll be looking at solstices and equinox celebrations. We'll be looking at fairies and elementals and gardening and ritual and full moons and new moons and all that is related to our way of connecting with Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited to be sharing all my beautiful photographs that I take all over the world with nature and sharing my experiences. And really, it's time for me to step up and do this work that I have been put on this planet to do. So.
Yay. That's all I got to say. Actually, Minnie has been a part of Star Nations from the very, very, very beginning. She was at the table in the creation of it. And yep. So we've always had a show together. I don't know if you guys know this. We've always had a show together. Yeah. Actually, several different show titles.
Yes.
And so...
we did Alchemy in the Modern World. We did Spirit of Color. And then that morphed into Nature Adventures.
Yes.
And how long have we been doing Nature Adventures? I'm thinking like 3-4 years.
Nature Adventures has been at least 3.
Yeah.
At least 3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of, I've always felt and seen Minnie doing her own show. And I don't know if you remember this, but I was saying, I'll hold a container for as long as you need.
Yeah, you know. Thank you.
And once you made the move to Colorado, we both knew that there was going to be another shift in there somehow. And so, yeah I was so excited the day when you said, I think I want to do this. It's always
well, and the nature spirits had something to do with that too. How they, the show wouldn't work unless I produced it. I'd never produced a show before, but I had to in order for us to do Nature Adventures several times.
Yeah.
And I took that as a sign that we're going to make you learn this whether you want to or not. And so I've been producing the last 3-4 shows and feel more confident in that. And it's just time to, sometimes you just know it's time to step into your power, into what you're supposed to be doing. And, so you get a little butterfly sometimes. Oh, wow. Step into it and be with it and learn, I know I'm going to learn a lot. So,
well, here's the thing is that in my previous show, in the Spiritual Roundtable and the 2 cards that we got today, it was about taking in information, discerning, and then deciding what to do with that information. And sometimes it is to leave, to, you know, is that fight or flight. So you're gonna flee, right? And other times, you know, you have to decide, is this fear holding me back from doing what I'm meant to do? And so I need to stay here, even though it feels uncomfortable,
Right.
to move through this, right?
Right.
This is, I mean, we all know, because I don't know if you heard me say that you are Star Nation's resident expert on
I did.
spirits, devas, elementals, nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for you to take that and step into
Yeah.
the fullness of that, you know, is, to me, is like celebration time. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm really excited. I'm putting my topics together, and yeah, I think, and some of them may blend with my magazine articles, you know, because there's always more to talk about with those. So yeah, those will be a lot of dovetailing in and continuity all across the board. So thank you, Neshi. Thank you for holding the space for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
To be ready to do this. Yeah.
You know, and the fact that we get to continue to share your photography work about nature, still through the new show, Nature Connections, that's still going to be there, guys. You know, and Minnie actually went out and got a brand new camera when she realized she was going to be doing travel shots for the magazine, and so she's put that to great use, I think.
We've got some comments in the show. Let me see how I can. Okay. Well, first, my sister here, Ann Keen, is here, and she says hello.
Can you know how to click? If you hover next to it, you'll see kind of like an eye.
There we go. I got it.
Click on that and we'll bring it up. There we go.
Okay. And Andrew is here, and he says,
Andrew.
Good afternoon. Hi, Andrew. Andrew Miller. Gianna says, fantastic. Jeannie. Oh, you guys are so sweet. And then, you know, there's my sister back, and she says, yes, she's been talking with me about this for quite a while.
Yeah.
And, Nicole Logan is here. Hi.
Well, hello, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Gosh. And Natalie Thurman.
Oh, I know. Natalie's here. Hello, Natalie. We got heard about Natalie. Yeah.
Yay. We have a lot of people in the house. We have Angie.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah. Hello, Angie.
Oh, I love Rob. You know, Rob always has a comment to say. He says, any idiot can produce a show. Thanks, Rob. Yep. I know, because you produce shows.
Because he's a producer for us.
I know.
He produced my show last
night. And Lisa Crawford says, hello. So, wow, we got a full house today.
Yeah. Did you know that Lisa lives near Poynette?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay, so you know we touched on this topic in our last show. I don't remember how we touched on it. We were talking about the elementals. Oh, we were talking about in the winter where do the fairies go, right? Where the elementals go. Right. And I made some comment about, well, you know, we have elementals in our bodies too.
And I went, what's another topic?
Doesn't it make sense? If we have elementals everywhere else, why would they not be in our physical bodies too? So, but the overriding, you know, word for this is nature intelligence. So let's talk about that first. So, and Neshi, I didn't know if the Da Vinci Man is one you wanted to put up.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me find him. There he is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is kind of a familiar depiction, right?
Yeah.
So how many people have seen Da Vinci's drawing of man, right? Now, our bodies already have divine proportion in them based on sacred geometry, that golden ratio. And that's what this picture is really kind of about. And the reason why I wanted to bring this particular image to this show is because we're talking about the body intelligence, and that we were already created in this divine proportion. Right?
Mm-hmm. Give it a
And
solo.
yeah, yeah. If you put me down below, they're not going to be able to hear me. So just so you know that.
Okay, just put solo on the picture.
Okay, good. And
that's what you do, right?
Yeah, that's okay. That's good.
Good.
So Da Vinci was showing us that, and most of his work was channeled from spirit. And so in this particular picture, it's just a good reminder for us that that all of nature is in this divine proportion, in that golden ratio, and that we are the Fibonacci, that's what it's called. And so nature has a distinct beginning, but no end. There's immortality in that, and that is our spiritual essence, right? And so with this topic of the body intelligence, is that it's also reminding us that we are not separate from nature, that we are a part of this. And so why would we not have a nature spirit with us, plural, on our spiritual teams, inside and outside of us, right? Yeah. So that's a good segue for Minnie Kansman.
Well, when I think about the body intelligence, whoops, I'm going to hide this instead. When I thought of just about the word body intelligence, it reminded me of all the ways that our body speaks to us when we listen, when we're tuned in. One of the ways, like when you get the goosebumps, when you get a confirmation, when you hear something and you get goosebumps, and you're not cold, your body's telling you, listen, this is important. This is true. This is truth. There's an example of body intelligence happening in force therapy. We use all of our senses to tune into nature, but one of the senses that we use is called body radar, and you've done that with me, Neshi, before, where you let your body sense what direction brings you a feeling of pleasure, and you may head in that direction and find this beautiful tree or this stream or whatever it is that called your body to it. But there's an energy connection between nature and your body. And if you listen with your what we call body radar in forest therapy, you'll be guided to know what path to take, what turn to make, where to go sit, what tree to go hang out with.
Right. I'm going to pause just there for a second. And I know that there's some people in our audience who may not know what forest therapy is.
Oh, yeah. Well, nature and forest therapy is something, another profession of mine that I do to take people out in nature and connect them with the natural world in a very slow and mindful way, using all of our senses. And at a forest therapy walk, I would give you invitations that would take you out in the forest, wherever we are, in a forest, in a field, and give you an invitation to have perhaps set up an experience for you with, go introduce yourself to a tree. And again, using that body intelligence to find out which tree you might want to go introduce yourself to. And then perhaps from there, you might have a conversation. So that's an example of nature and forest therapy. And I am a guide for that. And a saying that we have in forest therapy is that the guide only opens the door, but nature is the therapist. So there's therapy that happens from Mother Gaia if we open the door to receive it. So
yeah,
that's a short version.
Well, I put your website in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
If anyone wants a little bit more information or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just started doing walks here in Loveland, Colorado. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're talking about body intelligence. Do you have anything to add to that, Neshi?
Well, one of the things that I just wanted just to go back just a little bit to our previous show last month is that we were talking about how nature spirits in the winter, because there's this thing that some people think that they leave, like, you know, they're snowbirds or something, they go south,
Right.
and they're not here. You know? Or they're worried about them, that they're out in the cold and they want
Right. They want to come in the house, yeah, to get
right.
warm.
And so when we were talking about that, and Minnie had mentioned that we had our own elementals or nature spirits within us, that kind of exploded into another topic. And so what I'd like to do is, if you can, is, because we've got so much information, I just want to make sure that we give enough to our audience that they can kind of not just wrap their mental minds around it, but to have a remembering of such a connection. So can you explain to us what is it that the elementals are doing with us in our bodies, or on our bodies, or how do they work?
How'd they get in there? Yeah.
How do they get in there?
Well, we each have something called an overlighting body elemental. We'll call it that. And you can look up on the internet and find information about the body elemental. There's quite a bit. And it is really, its job is to run our automatic systems of our body. The body elemental runs our mental, physical, emotional, and etheric energy fields of our body. So you can tune into one of those areas, let's say the physical, and that's where a lot of people have found it helpful to work with your body elemental on the physical level. But know that on the physical level, and on every level, there's elementals working within that level. So you've got your air, water, fire, earth, and etheric levels of elementals on those levels. So let's look at the physical body. So if you were having challenges with, let's say, your bones or your tissue, that would be the earth elemental within the body elemental. And I have been working with the earth elemental in my body recently. I'll give an example. I've had a sore neck, and I've been waking up in the morning with a very sore neck. And it's not something that I did lifting or whatever. I finally figured out I'm clenching my jaw when I'm sleeping. Okay. Now, the dentist would say, go get a bite splint and take care of that, right? But no, I know it's from stress. I know it's something that my body is doing while I'm sleeping. It's an unconscious piece. Body elementals deal with all of that unconscious pieces. So I talk to my body elemental, specifically the earth elemental within my body, but you can just talk to your overall body elemental. That's fine too. And I ask it, instead of saying, please don't have me clench my jaw at night.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to ask for the positive. It's all about positive affirmations. You're going to go for, what do you want? And I'll say, I want to sleep with a very relaxed jaw, right? Please help me to keep my jaw relaxed all night. So if my jaw is relaxed, I'm not clenching.
Right.
So, and this just happened like a week ago, and I've been doing this about 3 nights now. And it's getting better. It's slowly improving. It didn't happen like a flash overnight, They're working on it with me. I remember every night before I fall asleep, right when I'm in that tween place, that's a really good time to talk to your body elementals and ask for what you want. And and they're you know, they're going to manifest whatever you think about. That's the other thing that they do. If you say, I'm sick, like, okay, she said she's sick. All right, Minnie's sick. Yep.
Yep.
You know, or I'm healthy and I'm feeling so vibrant, and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have so much energy. So that's a way to in a practical way, work with your body elemental. So any area, but if you know, like if you're having like air would be breathing. If you're having breathing issues, you might go right to the air elementals in your body. If you're having, like I said, earth would be your bones and your tissues and your organs and such. Water, anything that flows, your blood, right?
Right.
Digestion, right? Elimination, things that are moving through, you know. And the fire element is a really good one elemental is a good one to talk to about your energy level. Okay. And I think about you, Neshi, with the glucose and the burning, and you know, that's all about energy, you know, blood sugar levels.
Actually, I think that there's a combination, because you know, we're not just one thing, right?
Exactly.
And so yes, the energy piece and how I burn the energy, the food, that's one, right? That's fire. Right. But it's also got an emotional component to it.
Yes. Yes. Right? And that's the, you know, the mental place. And that's the other place that you can really work with your body elementals is, you know, please help me to just relax. Help me to be calm at this moment. It's always with you. Your body elemental never leaves you, and it's been with you over lifetimes. It comes into your physical body with you when you come in another lifetime. So
now, okay, so if I were sitting in the audience and I'm listening to this information, it's like, when do we get our elementals? Because we have more than one, right? So when do we get our elemental?
Well, I'm going to call it your body elemental. You get all your elementals at the same, they're within your body elemental. The very first time you come into physical form.
Okay. In your very first physical life.
Very first, because it's here to help you, your spirit, work within this physical vehicle that you've taken on while you're here on the earth plane. Okay.
Okay. So there are it's the same elementals, let's say class, or I don't even know what to call that, from lifetime to lifetime, or do we get different assigned elementals to us in different lifetimes?
Okay. Well, their job and function is going to change depending on what lifetime you're in and what you're working on. Okay. But I would say an earth elemental.
I'm just trying to.
No. And you know, this information has been coming through me. I looked on the internet, you know, for validation of these elements within the body elemental. I did not find a whole lot. So this is stuff coming through me, you know, as I started talking with them about it and been working with them. And, you know, but they say to me, it's okay if people just can connect with their body elemental. That's awesome, because it's a very neglected being in a lot of people. It's like the nature spirits, you know, how they get forgotten.
Right.
So just doing a meditation to connect with your body elemental would be fantastic. And you know, I found a really awesome one online. It's like 35 minutes long. Let me see if I can type this in here. His name is Steve Noble. Has a wonderful meditation on YouTube called Connecting, or Body Elemental Meditation, Connecting Young Self to Higher Being. It's beautiful meditation. And I got to get really good at typing things in while I'm talking.
While you're doing that, I'm going to share a link that you gave me about Dorothy Rowe. And she had a YouTube about body intelligence. And so I listened to her and it was like, wow. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why when we make the suggestion that you connect to your spiritual team and that you call the entire team to you rather than your usual just go-to couple like, Archangel or, one of the archangels, but to call the whole complement of the team, because there's members of your spiritual team that you may not have connected with yet. And they might be the very best being to help you, to assist you in whatever you're doing. And so as Minnie was sharing with our body elemental, that we may not have even realized that we have this host of elementals that are helping us. And so when you call your entire team and you're asking for the best ones to step forward, you might have already been working with them without knowing it consciously.
Yes. Right? Yes. Let's see if that came out.
Yeah, it looks like it's
all the things I started. His name is Steve Noble, and it's Body Elemental Meditation.
Okay.
I came out several times.
They got it.
Yeah. But we could do a really simple one right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
If you want. Actually, though, first, I want to share some images of what I see when I work with my body elemental, because that may be helpful before you do a connection, just because people might be wondering, what am I looking at? Okay, come on, where is that piece? Okay, here it is. All right, so a woman that you and I know well from meditations we've done with her, Maureen St. Germain.
Oh, Maureen, yeah.
She has a CD about connecting with your body elemental. And I couldn't stream it in. You have to purchase the CD, so I didn't have time to get it, but I bet it's fascinating and wonderful because she's such a wonderful teacher. But this is on the cover of her CD for that. And let me give it a solo.
Okay.
And you can see, this is what I see. I see all these pinpoints of light. I love how she's connected them in a sacred geometry kind of way. But I see a being that is my body shape, only smaller, a little small, like about 3 feet tall is what I see. But there's a lot of this energetic light body all around it. Okay. And then also I see, when I see all the elements coming in, where do my photos go? It's not here now. How can that be?
Okay. So then go over to the left-hand side and parts of media. You can go back out and grab it from your files. You could do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So smaller usually than you are, but I'm not going to say, I mean, in the meditation, he has your body elemental could come to you as a rabbit. It could come to you as, a fairy.
Deer from that card day.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Here's my picture, but mine. Okay. So that body with all the lights, but then we've got all the elementals involved here. All the colors of the elementals involved. So that's kind of what I see.
Yeah. So they're the colors of the chakras.
Well, yes, the body elemental is in charge of chakras too. Yeah.
I could just love that.
It's really in charge of everything that we do here, while we're here on the physical plane. It really is. But a real simple way to connect with your body elemental. And let's just do a meditation. It'll be really, really quick. So, okay, just close your eyes and get yourself nice and grounded. Breathe. Breathe nice and deep. Feel supported by your chair. And tune into your higher self. That higher consciousness energy of you that is with you always. Your higher self will help you connect with your body elemental. And then before you, just ask for your body elemental to appear. And wrap that being in an egg of pink light, beautiful pink light. To let it know how much you love it. Because they can be shy and timid sometimes, because if you haven't connected with them, it could be a little shy. So wrap it up in a pink egg of light. And tell it that you would like to connect with your body elemental, that you would like to connect with it. And you can ask it to please assist you in any mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual questions or challenges that you might have. And know that your body elemental is always here for your highest good. Always here to support you in all that you do here on this earth plane, in this physical body. And thank you. Thank you to your elemental body for showing itself to you today. And bring yourself back here to the show and open your eyes. So,
oh my goodness, it felt female, but my inner child, my little girl, the part of me was so happy. It was like, yay!
Yes, yes. Yes.
And and it made me realize that as the body elemental is part of our subconscious self and running our parasympathetic system, that's exactly what our inner child does. So they're very much together.
Yes.
In this. And yeah, so yeah, and the pink light was already there. Wrapped around. And so yeah. Oh, good. So yeah, I made my request. Help me to balance out the endocrine system and the emotions around it, and to help me to burn the fuel, the food, in a healthy and efficient way.
There you go. Oh. Yeah. And you can talk to it anytime. I have found that a really good time, though, is in that place right before sleep. You can talk to anytime during the day. We have a comment from Jana. I saw the connected light points vividly the first time I went to GLR. Loving this talk. Oh, thank you, Jana. Yeah. Awesome. So that was just a really quick one. The one I put about Steve's, I love it because he takes you to a garden and you're with all the elementals, and it's really beautiful. And he also does some clearing with the body elementals, because they go, they can hold information they will hold information from all your past lives and all your emotional data. And so there's actually a clearing that he does. So if your body elemental is holding any clearing that you need, that you don't want to bring forward into this
Mhm.
life, then you can clear it through there too.
Yeah.
It's very much like holding the Akashic records for
Yeah.
your lifetimes.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, that's
all,
really interesting, because, in soul clearing, we talk about clearing the traumas, right?
uh-huh.
The blocks, the barriers to what you want to accomplish in this life with your soul contract, but keeping the wisdom that you gained, right, from that experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how we can actually, it made me think of those health issues that we might bring from one down through a lineage, like the diabetes or heart issues
Right.
or something like that, we can actually get help with that to disrupt that cycle.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So Angie says the pink light was very bright and I saw my fairy friend. Yay! That's cool. Yeah, because they could come, in any form that feels comfortable to you. It's kind of like the way the nature spirits,
Mm-hmm.
show up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same way, of course.
Yeah. When I was doing preparing for the show, and I was looking for images, right? And the one that kept popping up, and it was like, this has nothing to do with nature spirits. And but it showed. I heard noises upstairs. I don't know. That could be Mom. I don't know what she's doing up there. So I don't know if you have that. It showed.
Element one chart.
Yeah, because it's a scientific thing, and they kept showing me this particular image, and I don't know. It does the breakdown of the elements in our body. So we have like oxygen is 65%, carbon 18, hydrogen 10, nitrogen 3, and then others. And the reason why I thought, okay, they want us to look at this somehow. And I was thinking, a lot of times when we talk about elements, there's this confusion between the scientific periodical table,
right,
and the earth, wind, fire, and water.
Right.
And so, but looking at this, I didn't realize. I knew that oxygen was a large part of our body, but I was thinking maybe it's because some of the things that the elementals take care of for us are a part of this, right? Because all of this has to do with our physical body being here on Earth.
Right.
Right.
Our body's made of elements too. Yes. Maybe that's the message right there.
Mm-hmm.
Elementals take care of the elements in our body.
It's like the 6th time when I was going through images and this one popped up again.
I know, because I was wondering, what's she going to talk about with that one? Okay.
All right, we'll show it. I don't know what it's going to be about. I don't know who needs to see it, but we'll show it. But I realized, that sometimes, in our language, that can be kind of confusing if we're talking about elements or elementals. Some people might actually think about the periodic table and all of that. But in actuality, it's all about being here on Earth and having come from the Earth. We're so connected to Grandmother Earth, so connected to her, more than I think that we're really consciously aware of.
Right. Elements from the Earth are in our physical bodies.
Right. And one of the things that we know is that, how do I say this? Everything in nature, from the blade of grass to the sequoia trees to the stones, they all have an elemental or a deva, a nature spirit, connected to them, right? And so when I was going through my preparation for the show, it's like, we come from the Earth. We can't separate ourselves out from it. And that when we do that, we completely disregard the nature spirits that are with us,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so this is really also about a remembering about that aspect of ourselves.
And the other piece they told me, and they say, tell Neshi this, um, that the platonic solids are all within our body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all part of the elementals too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So the platonic solids
yes,
are
please.
the building blocks of
Yeah.
all life, and they're found in Metatron's cube. And it's all sacred geometry. And so, yeah, I mean, if if they are the building blocks of all life, then of course the elementals, nature spirits, would be all about that because they're the ones that help us to create it on Earth, to bring it into the physical form.
Right.
Right?
Right. We couldn't be here without them. Right.
No, we couldn't
So,
be.
yeah. Aww.
Yeah. They're more than Tinkerbell.
They are. Oh, here, Angie says, I hear the rocks and trees sing around me where I live.
Oh.
Yeah, they do that, don't they? I had my neighbor came into my garden, my brand new neighbor friend I met last summer. I've just moved to Colorado this last May, and so it was my first garden. But she walked in my garden,
Mm-hmm.
and she's very intuitive. And she said, your garden is singing, Minnie. I love the song. And it's like, I hadn't tuned into that yet. I was, still working on the physical. And she said, oh my goodness, I could stay here and listen to this. But I love, Angie, that the rocks and trees sing to you. Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me, Angie, of when we first started Star Nations, we were on Blog Talk Radio, and we had a show called Storytellers. And we would take stories that, like creation stories and that sort of thing. And there was one story that I read. It's called Another Way to Listen. And it's about listening to the stones and the trees and the wheat and the grass and all of nature. Really, it's just another way to listen.
And for me, sometimes it's not listening with my physical ears. It's
right, exactly.
Listening with my body intelligence, right?
Yep. Yeah, the Onondaga Nation out on the East Coast, they call that listening, putting your thin ear on. Thin ear.
I like that.
Thin ears on. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
One of the other things that came up when I was getting the preparation, because I watched the one video the link that you sent me from Dorothy Rowe, and then along the sideline, they always do the recommendation of other ones, right? There was one by a Dr. Clint Rogers about ancient healing, and a lot of it had to do with like Ayurvedic kind of healing. But one of the things he said in there that was kind of stuck with me is that in the ancient healing that it's all about balance. And then in Western healing, it's all about the fight against cancer, and that sort of thing. And that in the ancient healings is that it's about balance and co-creation. And that when we're using plants, that we're just not using the plants, that we're actually connecting to them and connecting to the intelligence of the plant,
right?
And asking them for their assistance, right? And so and it's all about balance. And it reminded me of my mom, who taught me that is to connect with the plant and ask them for their help before you use them. Right? And she still does that with, even if it's Young Living Oils. She goes, it's still a plant. She does that with aspirin because it's from willow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's something to that. There's something to that.
Right.
Because
And go ahead.
when we're working with asking for assistance from the nature spirit of a certain plant, right? That nature spirit is working with our body intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we have this request, this understanding, this communication that goes much deeper than our verbalness about it,
Right.
right? I mean, it's a part of it, but it goes well beyond that.
Right. And even with medicine that you might grow, you can begin that process when you plant the seed or when you first put the plant in the ground. This is medicine for my body. You set that intention or that request for the nature spirits to add to it what you need for
Right.
your physical body. And that's really co-creating with nature.
Right. Yeah. We're going to Finhorn, right?
Yes, we are in Scotland when we go. My Nature Adventures group is going to Scotland September 14th through the 26th. Neshi's going with, and several people from the Colorado trip will be on that trip as well. But we are going to Finhorn Garden, and there will definitely be a Nature Connection show about that when we get back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And Finhorn is a community that works specifically with the nature spirits, the nature intelligence of the land to grow their food and their community. It's not just about the plants; it's about the buildings and the people. But I'm really excited because we're going to eat lunch there because I wanted to eat their food that they grew on the land. So I've got us having a lunch.
Great
for our tour.
That's excellent.
I think that's going to be so much fun.
Here's this. It's the reason why I brought up Finhorn and that co-creation thing, right? Is that I know that there's a couple people in the audience in the live chat that and we all have pets, but one's an actual breeder and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So even our pets have the elementals that are with them, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And we can do the same thing for them. When Ginger, that's why her picture popped up today on Facebook and Net Memory. When she was really, really sick, I remember waking up early one morning and I couldn't, because she slept right next to me. I couldn't feel her. I felt her physical body, but I couldn't feel her.
Mm-hmm.
And her breathing was so shallow. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I worked with the elementals that were with her and trying to understand what was going on with her and how I could help her through them, right?
Right.
And that was the very first time I consciously worked with the elementals in that way.
Yeah.
Right. And so here's a question. I should have probably asked you this beforehand. So when our pets come into the physical world, when their soul, when their essence comes in, they come in with their elementals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So depending on the person's belief system, the owners of the mom and the dad dog, right? Or cat or whatever. I guess what I'm going to ask is how can we best connect with their elementals and when to start doing that as the puppies come in or the kittens come in? See, this would be a great conversation with Leslie Serenesi too.
Yeah, it's interesting because the first thing that I hear is they don't need you to connect. They're connected with them already.
Okay. No, I wasn't really asking about making the connection, But let's say that there's we're concerned about the health of either, maybe not all of them, but maybe, because there's Natalie's in the house, and so, and I know she's a breeder. And let's say that there is a situation that she might know about through their vet, and so she could actually connect with the nature spirits or the elementals that are with the mom dog, right? Or with the puppy itself. I guess what I'm asking is, can we use this for our pets too? Because I know that we can, but how to best do that?
Well, I'm getting that they have their own relationship and their own connection already to their body elementals. And that would be like us trying to talk to another person's body elemental. Don't interfere. I'm getting down. I mean, you can send good thoughts. You can wrap them in love, the prayers, whatever. That makes a difference, right? That's holding space for them. But I would never go talk to somebody else's body elementals to say, hey, get on this. You're not, I think that's what I'm getting, that's their relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting because, as energy workers, as healers, the first thing that we do is we get permission from the high self, right? Yeah. Is that something that we should do?
And maybe that's a way in through their high self. I don't know. As I was doing research, I found out how much the body elemental listens to our words and our feelings. And so, maybe it's just the words that you surround your pet, like the pet, he's really sick, he's in a lot of pain, maybe it's what words we wrap around the situation that can make a difference.
That makes sense. Because, that is a lot about Dr. Emoto's work, right?
Yeah.
And the water crystals. And so, exactly. And so the water elemental is taking all that on, right?
Right. Yeah. So, and I don't know, so much, our pets come in so much for us too. They come in for, that's an interesting question. And the healer question is really, really interesting.
Yeah. Because when you interfere. Yeah. Really, honestly, we might get the permission from the conscious self, from the personality self. Yep, right. I need help. Come and do what you need to do.
Right.
But when we connect to their high self and their soul, right, is saying she has to do this on her own. This is a part of her soul growth. If you do this, you're interfering with her soul growth.
Right.
And so you end up saying, I can't really help you with that right now. What I can do is I can say prayers for you. I can, I'll give you a hug. I can, I can't do what you're asking me to do. Yeah. I was watching The Goop the other day.
Yes.
And they had an energy worker on, and watching him work and how far out from the body he was working and then zooming in, literally, his energy, because you could see it from his hands, from his fingers, the energy zooming into the person's, not just their etheric body, but their physical body. And, and I was kind of going, yeah, what about this? And what about that? And then when we were talking about elementals, that when we're energy workers and we're doing that kind of work on the body, on the bodies, we'll make that plural, that we're really in relationship with not just the person that we're helping, their soul self, but also with their elementals. That we maybe our spiritual team is connected to their spiritual team. and having that conversation, and that's how we get those hits, those intuitive hits, and oh, we need to do this and we need to do that. Right? Because we're open to the communication.
Right.
All that kind of layering.
It's an interesting piece to, I haven't really asked them about that. Do they like assistance? Does your body elemental like assistance, like energy assistance? Or
I think it has a lot to do with when we say here's something I really like to use when I'm asking for help, right? Or when I'm manifesting, is to please bring me all the resources that I will need, that necessary to help me support this, right? So it could be anything. It could be a referral to a healer. It could be a client coming in because of the flow of the money kind of thing. It could be any kind of resource, whether it's the extra money to help with mom's care or George's care, or anything that I would need in that manifesting of that.
Right.
And so maybe that is kind of layered in there, that if the elemental is saying we need to balance this out, and we can bring her this kind of healer that can help to do that. Because really, a lot of it is our free will too. Are we going to do the lifestyle change?
Right.
To do this? Right.
Right. It's that mental mind, that physical. Yeah. I keep hearing that the body elementals, they know how to do the work that needs to be done, but they need the permission to do it. Like me asking, like my neck wasn't going to get better until I asked for it to get better, because they wanted me to see, it was all about the stress signal, like what's stressing you in your life. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
But if I want to get rid of, I needed to make that request. So,
well, that makes sense though. That makes sense because they're on our spiritual team.
Right.
And our spiritual team can't intercede until we ask them to, because they're not experiencing the physical life we are.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I like Andrew's comment. If you could bring that up. Because we're almost near the time. Man, this went by fast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it did. I didn't see that. It was scrolled down. Okay. Andrew, so glad I tuned in today. I've had a neck problem that just won't go away. I'm excited to have something new to try and relieve it. Yeah, so make sure, Andrew, you ask for what you want.
Yeah.
So relief, and a neck that feels, you want agility, all those wonderful words that you want, range of motion, all of that.
And let us know how it goes.
Yeah, really. Okay. So we got 2 minutes. So what's up with you, Neshi?
Oh my gosh.
We're going to close here. Yeah.
What's up? Let's see. We're working on the March issue of Star Nations magazine. Yes. We're getting it prepped for layout right now. We're Star Nations Academy, the online courses about manifesting. And let me tell you, every time I turn around, there's some connection to manifesting. And so really, now we can add the body elementals into that. Yeah, so we got that, and I have a drum making workshop coming up in Michigan, near Hastings, Michigan, at Edge of the Woods Retreat, and it's run by Lori DeDecker. And so those people that have been waiting for me to come back to Michigan since the last time, since May, since your flight, I'll be there in June.
Oh yeah.
Go to Star Nations Academy. Star Nations organization's website, and you'll find all the information there.
If you haven't made a drum with Neshi yet, make one. And if you've already made one, make two, because it's amazing. You can't have too many drums.
Talk about elementals.
Yes. Well, I am teaching at Great Lakes Retreat this summer in July, and that's July 19th to July 24th. And you can go to greatlakesretreat.org to read more about it. But I really need to tie this up because we're at the top of the hour, Neshi.
It goes by so fast.
I know. All right. So our last Nature Adventure show. Thanks you for everyone for being a part of our show today, and those that are going to be listening in the archives later. Thank you for tuning into our show. We really appreciate you spending time with us. And I just want to say that I believe having a co-creative relationship with nature brings peace to your soul.
Aww.
So with that, I will say goodbye and farewell, and see you next month for Nature Connections. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.